not so much AI, but it kind of is in the sense of like Google Maps does routing. I'm not having to say, all right, I'm going to turn left at, Trellis Place, a road in my neighborhood, and then onto Union Hill Road that turns into McGinnis Ferry, and then, I'm not having to plan, turn by turn my route to get here. Google Maps just tells me what the best route is. Right now with our drone control software, pretty much every drone control software platform out there, you have to set waypoints for where you want your drone to fly along the route. And what we are working towards and what we need to have this sort of drone autonomy take place at a larger scale, making it more like Google Maps, where anyone can just tell their drone where they want it to go, and then it automatically come up with the best route to get there. And not necessarily as the crow may fly, as a lot of people might think. And hypothetically speaking, because again, this would be illegal if I actually did it, there's a local drone park about 2 miles away from my parents' house. And we have a little attachment for our drone called a 4G LTE mod kit. So you could put a SIM card in this device that then connects our drone to the internet. So now you have unlimited range to connect to it, monitor its position on the map, even take control over it if you would like to. But otherwise, we are just able to tell it to take off from the drone park, and instead of flying directly as the crow flies back to my parents' house, it was almost a straight shot, but there was like a path of trees, that was like the whole way. And, you have to cross highways or roads or whatever, at some points. But there are ways that you could have, paths that are created that avoid, terrain, that avoid buildings, avoid even large congregations of people, in the same way like Google Maps will say, hey, this roadway has, is backed up for 10 minutes because of traffic. They get all that data because the amount of phones that are within that roadway, they can say there's 30 phones within this roadway and they're not moving as fast as they should be, and so hey, maybe you should take this path instead. And we can do that same sort of routing around people. Like say there's a music festival or some outdoor concert or whatever, you don't necessarily want your drone flying over those large groups of people if it doesn't have to be, right? So I think that's where it's going to come into play, where you're not having people just like free flying these drones around to the local restaurant. They're all connected to the internet, all know where each other are going, where all of each other are at any given time. And again, there's still going to be accidents that happen.
So Jacob, you talk about we're working on that. Is that a hobby group, or are you part of a company?
Yeah, so I founded a drone company called Drones iVue Incorporated, or our doing business as name is iVue, I-V-U-E.
Okay.
And so Brian and I actually started off bootstrapping as a media business. So kind of think about an Uber type of business model, connecting local content creators like photographers, videographers. Oftentimes those photographers or videographers are also drone operators, right? The way that almost everyone makes money as a drone operator today is as an aerial photographer or videographer, really. And so that's the way that we were able to get started bootstrapping our business. I ended up meeting some people along the way where I wanted to start developing our own hardware and software. I'm a technically savvy sales and marketing guy, even though I recently just for the first time got called a tech bro.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm not that good of a coder. I've done a few lines of coding that have ever actually done something that we needed it to do, but by and large, it's like, hey, this is what we should be working towards, and I'm typically like the test dummy, if you will. If I can operate it, where I'm like the everyday bear, so to speak. If it works for Jacob, it's probably good enough to start getting out there to our customers, which are predominantly high schools and colleges, at least our drone customers.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like the early days of personal computers. It's more of like, what can you get our drone to do versus what does the drone just do for you right, out of the box, right? Obviously, we're working more and more towards you just buy our drone out of the box and you can use it as an everyday father, mother, roofer, farmer, everybody in between. But right now, it's still for the enthusiast, hobbyist, kind of technically savvy people.
Yeah. So we were talking about Brazelton and our vision for